Hey everyone, welcome back. It's William Xavier. Welcome back to the Let's Make a Travel Album Caribbean Adventure series. So in this video, we're going to move forward into our last port of call in the cruise itinerary, which was Cozumel, Mexico. And this is kind of a layout that I designed myself in a particular way, more scenic. And I'm going to walk you through some of those components. And I had actually put this one together a while back when the Sun-Soaked collection came out, and I was kind of sitting on it for a while, and then we took this Caribbean vacation, and as I was getting everything together, I found these bits and pieces and remembered, oh yeah, I was kind of working on something like this, and figured out where I was going to use it, and I found it would best fit as a title page for one of the ports of call, and it just ended up to land in Cozumel, Mexico for me. So here we have a lot of bits and pieces with tools that we've got going on here that we're going to be using. You know, we've got our tearing tool. I'm not using the tearing tool in this layout, but you could certainly substitute. I just used the straight edge of my metal ruler, but you could certainly, if you like the edges to use it, by all means, go ahead. Got my scissors, got my multi-purpose tool handy, got my tweezers handy for when I get to adhering and placements, got my adhesives, all this fun stuff. Got my ink. You'll notice I have the corner rounder here because I am going to use that, not for photos though. I have also the shimmer pen that came out. It was initially part of a secret box. I think it was the 4th secret box of 2023. And then in 2024, there were some releases of shimmer pens throughout the year with Creative Memories. And this is the clear shimmer that I used, and I'll show you where I used that. Punch-wise, we've got the white-capped waves. I again used Sunshine Mandala as a circle punch. And I'm going to use the Home Sweet Home BMC Border Maker cartridge. And I'll show you that as well. Additionally, I used the 12-inch decorative trimmer. This is a retired product. So if you don't have one, or if your advisor doesn't necessarily have any, a good alternative is the recent Custom Cutting System CSS border making tools, which is very similar to this soft wave, if you will, or swell. It's very similar. It's just a little bit more dipped on the one end here, but either of these would work for the piece that I'm going to show you. Got my trimmer, and of course our papers. I'm using one of the prints from the Tropic Time Tone on Tone. I used another one of the prints from the Sun-Soaked Designer Pack for the Wave Crest, as well as the Sun-Soaked Tone on Tone. Again, one of these was for the Wave Crest because I'm going to shadow that, and then the yellow was used for the Sun Mandala Punch. And I used one of the prints from the Paradise Found Designer Pack. I know we're slowly getting down to the reveal, right? I used Sandy Shimmer, or Sand Shimmer paper as well as medium craft. Of course, I have my Spargo pages, and for the, you can kind of see it poking out here. For the matte, I used the caramel cardstock, but here we go. Because I also used the Custom Cutting System circle in the the small circle with the 4-inch and then the 4 1/4 blade as well. But here we go. essentially, here is my title page, dry fit, loosely dry fit here, for Cozumel. So I'm going to walk us through each of these pieces and how to recreate them. But you'll get the idea, and then we'll put this all together as well. The first part that I'm going to work on with you all is this section here that I used the medium craft, and here's the sandy shimmer along the edge with the punched out Home Sweet Home BMC, and then I used the corner rounder to kind of cut off the peaks of the huts, or of the houses, to make huts, sorry. And then I did some inking in here just to kind of give it a little more definition against the papers that I picked. So we're gonna go through that piece first. And very simply, just gonna grab a piece of scrap here from somewhere. Here we go. So using the Home Sweet Home BMS Border Maker cartridge and system, I just punched out, I did not use the paper holder card. I just used scrap. And so I used a scrap that here is approximately around 6 inches, 6¼ inches or so. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 huts or houses that I punched out. This will punch out 2 at a time. So again, I just loaded my paper scrap in, and I actually turned it over to do my punching, and I just lined it up at the edge and punched. And then I just lined it up again to punch again until I had the desired amount of houses that I wanted. So I believe I fit 5 on that scrap. And so I have another one for us to work with here, where I just have 4, but it'll work for our purposes. And then I took my corner rounder, I took my micro tip scissors. First off, I trimmed off the chimneys here. And then I tried to vary the curved cut using the corner rounder. I didn't want them all the same height and size. I wanted to have a little difference here and there as best as I could. And all I simply did, because this piece will be small enough, that's why I'm saying, use a scrap. If you have the right size, somewhere around that 6 to 6¾ should work really well, because it's not huge. It's not a full 12-inch strip. It's not a whole paid piece of paper you're trying to work with. And I just inserted the tips into that corner rounder, finding kind of where I would want it to trim and cut. If I wanted it a little bit higher, I just didn't insert the tip of the house so much up. And if I wanted it really, really low, I just inserted it more, just so that I had varying heights to my huts. And then of course I did some light inking. Again, you might want to, this pad is a bit drier, so I'm able to do more of the direct onto the paper technique, just like this. If you have a newer one, you might want to use the blending brush on a craft mat or on a scrap piece of paper like you see I have here, and blend in along, you know, the edges, however much you want some of that shadowing on there. Then I got my decorative trimmer. And I worked out kind of where I wanted that swell to come up. So, you know, on this one, I did just move my edge of my paper. Not really. I moved it over here. It's about ½ an inch. It's at that 12 mark at the bottom of the decorative trimmer, the edge of my paper here. So I would move that to here, and I only moved it out about maybe, that might be 1/4 of an inch. I'm going out two of the square grid lines. And that's where I made my cut. If you want, or you are going to use the custom cutting border tool, we can explore what that would look like. So if you're new to using this tool, it's really nice where these little edges or these little feet will rest along the edge of your Creative Memories 13 by 13 cutting mat, just like this. And I can move it along. It will give me that straight line that I'm needing wherever I need to move that. So I could do the same thing here. I could line it up where I'm wanting that to cut. I'm going to bring the edge, the ground line with the huts, you know, up flush against one of the lines here. And then I'm going to kind of figure out, you know, how thick of a line do I want that to be. Since I'm going to be adding a strip, about a 1/4 inch strip of the shimmer, you know, I kind of want to give it, I'm going to overlay it here. So I kind of want to give myself enough room where it will not completely overlap. And then I would use one of my cutting blades. I probably would go with the red because it will be the closest cut to the edge of the border itself, edge of the border tool itself. And I would just put my little feet in the track and move it along and cut. I'm going to use the decorative trimmer for my sample piece, only because I've already cut that in my shimmer. So, but it would be the same thing. You would line it up with your shimmer, the shimmer paper, you would line up the same way and do your cut with this tool. But we'll get the decorative trimmer back. I'm gonna line up my paper here, close and cut. So I've got that little swell design there. I'm going to bring in my shimmer and I'm going to come in about a 1/4 inch. Because I don't want a very thick line, I just want a thinner one. Just to kind of give that sense of that, you know, beach and the different types of tones that we get out of beach, from wet sand, dry sand, etc. zoom in a bit. You can see. And then I would put some adhesive on. Just using some repo tape quick here. And I would find where that best lines up in the cutting. Adhere, and then make any trims that I might need to. And then what I did here was I wanted it to kind of have like that feeling of, you know, here's the beach in a way, and we kind of go up to our huts. So I just freehanded this part with scissors. And I'm gonna have to do it reversed because this side won't have much of an ability to do that. So I'm gonna flip it over actually. And I'm just gonna angle my scissors in. I'm gonna come along. And then I'm just gonna freehand cut down, you know, curve down towards the point of that shimmer to kind of give that sense of that hill, or that beach hill, beach dune, sand dune, whatever you want to call it. And then again, I took some ink, went over my shimmer. You could, of course, ink before you adhere. That's fine too. However, which way, or you want to adhere everything and then ink it all together, you can do that too. But that is how I made these huts. Come back out of it here. And let's see what we got next. The palm trees were punched using the palm tree punch, which was part of an advisor exclusive from one of the other trips as well. And of course I used the caramel cardstock, and I used jungle green, which was part of the dual tone white core cardstock. So again, I just matched which green I thought would look really good in the layout and just punched them all out, gave a snip on the green, and adhered my leaves to the top, and then ran that shimmer pen over it. You can kind of see that there. The Sunshine Mandala punch, again, I used that yellow print from the tonal Sun Soaked, did the whole punch, and then I gave that some inking as well as some shimmer pen attention, and then adhered the map inside. And here we've got our white capped waves punches. So again, I gave a little ink to them just to kind of keep with the theme of kind of that antique-y like look. And I'm going to shadow both of these to give a little extra color definition. The title up here, I used the square punch, so that's the 1 3/4 square, and I used the tile print from the Paradise Found collection because it really just said Cozumel, Mexico to me, so that's what I used there. And then of course I made Cricut cutouts for the letters to spell out Cozumel. And then the inlay here, again, I just used the straight edge of my ruler to do my tears. And this is where I said you could use the tearing tool if you wanted to have some of that curvy definition around if you wanted that as well. And of course I inked the sides, as you can see. So this white print is a 10.5 by 7, so 10.5 by 7 inch. And then this one is a 10 by 6.5. So I'm actually going to adhere these together now. And I'm just going to give the top a little bit more. I'm not going to put it completely even in the center. I kind of want to give the top a little bit more because it'll show more up there. So I just kind of want to be able to see it a little bit more than I would if I centered it. Okay, got that. So now I need to place all this. I need to get these together. So I'm gonna get one of my silicone mats. My other mat has a bunch of Cricut titles cut out on it, so I don't have my border silicone mat because it's housing all those right now. So I gotta use one of my other ones off to the side here. So I'm gonna get some repo tape on here. And then I'm just gonna place it on top, shadowing it. And I'm just gonna just kind of play around to what looks right for me or to me. So I'm wondering if I want that instead. Could do that, or like I originally thought, have that light come up along the bottom of the waves. And this is what's nice about that repo tape, is that we can pull it apart, undo it, and kind of play around with it as we like. I think I kind of like the lighter part of the wave coming out at the bottom. So I'm just going to reposition this for that. Okay. Then I'm going to get some repo tape on the back of this. Now I'm going to set this along the bottom, and I'm going to kind of let it come pretty far down. I'm not going to come right to the bottom, but pretty close to it. And we'll adhere that in there. Pieces, there we go, okay. The next part that I'm going to put is I'm going to put my huts in. Get some repo on you. Get my multi-purpose tool, because I'm going to lift this up a little. I'm probably layering these all a little backwards, but That's what happens sometimes. And I want it just a little bit, I want where the waves come up onto it a little bit. Just to kind of give that kind of feel of, you know, waves coming up on the beach. I'm going to get some adhesive on the back of this one. Oops, upside down. There we go. I'm gonna just pop these up a little bit so I can place this best. Like so. Okay. And make sure that I have enough room up here for all my letters. And I am off centering this, right? I want this effect of the huts not being in line on the page or in this inlay. I want that kind of overlap off. So I'm just gonna be moving this inlay piece more towards the center of the page. And I'm not necessarily coming all the way down behind the huts either. I'm kind of leaving some space there. Just because this print with the browns and the tans, I don't want the huts to blend in too much with it. So that's why I'm not layering it right on top in there. I had thought of, you know, switching it out to caramel because that really stands out as well. But for some reason, I just decided to keep it the way it is. Okay. And next, I will get my letters at the top. So I'm just getting these all ready to go. It'll kind of be like a memory game in a second. Where did I put the E? I won't remember, so you know. All right. And so I'm just gonna lightly dry fit them because I want to make sure, actually I know I'm gonna need to come over more. So I'm gonna pull this over some more because I do want them to kind of be in that kind of fun, haphazard way. I'm doing good with my memory. Maybe I'll make this one come up over the yeah. Oh, no, that was L. This is E. I'm getting a little squished there, so I just have to pull these over a little bit more. these down real quick. Make sure everything else is down. And another good way you can do that working with standard pages, flip it over and just run along the back. You can also do that with your designer papers too, if you're working with top loading pages. All right, get my pictures in here. So I can get these placed the right way I want them. So and dry fit my trees. Don't want to forget those. Make sure those are they're gonna go right underneath. So just make sure I have enough room when I put those on. And yes, so all right. I'm gonna get some adhesive on the back of the photo here. About around there. And then I'm gonna put some repo along most of these sunbeams, being careful not put adhesive on where it's going to overlap on the photo. Okay. Now I can put some repo on the back of my palm trees. And get them placed. So I just need to lift that a little. So I can work these out. So okay. And here I've got my title page for Cozumel. So when I come back for my final run through, I can check out if I want to add any other embellishments or not. It is, kind of full right now, so it might not need anything else or get anything else later on. But I'm pretty happy with how this page turned out. So hope you enjoyed. Hope you got some tips out of this one. As always, if you need anything, feel free to reach out to your favorite advisor. You can always reach out to me as well at More Memories on my Facebook advisor page, More Memories. And I'd be happy to help you with anything you need. And also there are links in the description. If you're liking what you're seeing, by all means, feel free to subscribe and continue following along with the series and other videos that I have out there. And I will join you next time where we're going to continue into Cozumel. I just haven't gotten haven't got my brain around how I'm going to want that to come together yet in the next couple pages, but that'll be the next video, is putting together those sites of Cozumel, Mexico. So again, I hope you enjoyed, and as always, happy scrapping.